This may just be the best Geckota watch I've reviewed to date. Welcome back to the channel, you watch heroes and nerds. As always, I am Chris and you are watching the Awkward Horology channel. And today we are on my third Geckota watch this year, and it's not the one I said I would review next. Enter the Geckota Airstream. Now this watch is on sale on WatchGecko, and I managed to pick this bad boy up with incredible specs for just £299. Non-affiliate links, by the way, will be in the description below. And I don't just think it's a Hamilton khaki automatic killer, it could make a very good Rolex Explorer killer. Or well, maybe just a good alternative. Let's take a look. So to kick off with this lovely looking watch, we have very wearable dimensions of 36mm in diameter, 45.5mm lug to lug, 11.95mm thickness, and a 20mm lug width. This is an automatic movement. It is the Miyota No Date 9039. You have a screw down crown with 100 meters of water resistance, a suede leather strap that comes in a granulated blue, muted blue dial, and you can get equally nice brown dials and a more conservative black. Finally, covering the dial itself, you have a lovely curved double domed sapphire crystal. I have to say, this feels like a good vintage inspired watch, and I love the look of it. It is filled with a little bit of glam thrown in and a fixed bezel with 24-hour markings, which add a slightly utilitarian look to this one. I'm a big fan of the faux patina, and I think it's done quite nicely, and for a simple premise they put a lot of detail into the case and dial for the execution. The screw down crown is signed with the Geckota G, and the dial has the basics 3, 6 and 9 numerals in the yellow patina, along with arrow markings. A white minute track with a dash of red every 5 minutes add a little bit of colour to an otherwise lovely dial, but however you do get some lovely distortion from the sapphire crystal that makes it easy to see from some angles and impossible to see from others. The case back is solid and feels like a tool to be used, with a nice anchor and snakes wrapped around the dial, with Geckota England on the back and limited production with 10 atmospheres of specs on it. The leather strap, although not my thing, is well made and goes well with the watch, but I think this one will look better on a NATO strap, mesh strap, bracelets and rubber too. It feels like this one is just a bit of a chameleon, not taking centre stage in an outfit, but playing a pivotal role in its overall design. I also need to say that the 36mm wears really nicely on my 7.5 inch wrist, and I'm starting the transition to move back to slightly more vintage sized timepieces after buying a few larger watches this year. Okay, so what are the downsides to this watch? Well, not many, if I'm honest with you. In fact, I feel like I'm going to be nitpicking a little bit in this section, so please bear with me. So really, there are two things to whinge about when it comes to this watch, and it's really non-material. Firstly, the name of the watch is called the Airstream, which would give it more of an aviation theme, but with the layout of the dial and the engraving on the back, I would argue that this is more akin to a field watch with a hint of vintage diver thrown in than aviation. Personally, I wouldn't have called it the Airstream given how it looks. What would you call it? Maybe leave that in the comments below. Secondly, again, keeping in relation to the field and diver aesthetic, maybe a mesh or a rubber tropic strap or a nylon strap, or if the budget would have allowed, maybe a bracelet strap would have been better on this one. Don't get me wrong, the leather band is nice and works in the look of this watch, but I think it would have worked a little better if you'd have had something that's maybe a little more hardy. But that's it. Otherwise, for £299, this watch is not only stunning, but I feel like it's a bit of a bargain too. A British watch from a British micro brand. That's pretty nice. Anyway, if you like what you see here, send over a like and perhaps maybe a cheeky sub. I'll see you again in another video.